All right, ladies and gentlemen, another spontaneous stream, spontaneous stream. And those of you who want to join the stream, let me know so we can have a discussion on that. I'm sure there are other spontaneous streams going on YouTube as we speak, or other streams going on YouTube as we speak, concerning boxing. But this is a spontaneous stream. Hope you guys enjoyed this. For those of you who check out my channel, peace to you. This is from my room. My bed's without a mattress, right? Without a sheet right now. I'm just sitting down here chilling. I got a ton of clothes on my left, ton of clothes on my right. Just been busy most of the day trying to help out my mom. It's been a hot day. It's overcast now. And I'm very, very bushed, very tired. I fell asleep a couple times today. Been very tired. But I'm still going to talk some boxing. We're going to talk some boxing. Over the weekend, a number of fights happened. You know, the big one was Usyk versus Bellew. I talked about that earlier on. We'll talk about it a little bit more here. Those of you who are interested and already come up on the channel in the chat section, you leave your comments in the chat section. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about women's boxing as well, and some outstanding champions and former world champions and their fights that happened over the weekend. So there was some stuff that was happening over the weekend, you know. So let's get into it. Tommy Temper, what's up, my bro? You want to join the chat section? Let me get you in. Let me get you into the. Let me get you into the discussion. So you may have time to be in the discussion. Let me give you the link to this stream here. You can join us up. Join up whenever you're ready, man. Join up whenever you're ready. So you see the fights that we'll be discussing. I'll start off with Christ. Praise be to the Most High God, who has got us where we are today. I don't take it for granted for 1 minute. I just want to give you thanks and praise, Lord. And you're the reason why we're even here talking about anything. This is just entertainment, really. Like I said recently, a boxer, I think he's 49 years old, died in the ring. I can't remember which fight it was. So we got to give thanks to God for life, strength, and health. All right, for those of you attending this stream, you can leave your comments in the chat section. If you would like to join in or stream right here, discussion with me here, please do. Some of the fights I did not get to see. Some of the fights I did get to see. Wasn't a whole bunch of fights I got to see. I fell asleep, so I fell asleep. So, you know, but we're gonna break down some stuff. I'm gonna have to eat some crow, you know, and we should have a good old time. All right. The links in the link to joining the stream itself and the discussion is right in the chat section. For those of you who want to join, feel free to do so. For those of you who want to stay in the chat section and talk in the chat section, please feel free. We're talking boxing heads, real boxing fans. So here we go. All right, I discussed Usyk versus Bellew for a little bit, so I'm not going to go into that. But we can always discuss it as we move along. What I actually want to talk about is some of the fights that came about during the weekend that actually we haven't even talked about. And some of them are some fantastic fights that happened. I didn't actually see them, so I'm only going to be talking about the results. But if you guys have seen it, that's great. I've been trying to look all around the internet for those fights, but I haven't been able to. Hey, shout out to you, Tommy. What's up, my dude? I'm good, man. Hey, we talked about the ibuprofen. We tried the ibuprofen. It worked for a bit, but she's going back to morphine again, so it is what it is. But ibuprofen did work well. It actually worked well for a long time. And then in the nighttime, she was getting bowel movements, but they were very painful. And this morning, she was able to pass out some stuff via a nurse that was there. But she's going back to the morphine. I really wish she would come off the morphine, but it is what it is. Yeah, man. So we're talking boxing. All right, go ahead. Tell me I need to eat my crow. Go ahead. What am I supposed to do now? I'm supposed to do something on it.
Tuna fish.
Yeah, tuna fish. All right, I don't have the tuna fish now, but I will get the tuna fish in the next stream. Cool. I will be eating tuna fish. Fair enough. I had to eat my crow. It's cool.
Oh, I was biting my nails.
I know, because he was actually winning on 2 judges' scorecards. He was winning the fight.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was winning on British scorecards, which are always very biased.
Nah, I thought he was winning the fight, actually. My personal opinion.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but the thing is, the stream I was watching
Right.
stuttered quite a bit, so I missed bits of the fight.
Oh, well, I can get you a cleaner stream. I actually have. There's a place. What's it called, boy? Something. I actually sent the link to another guy in the last stream. Yeah, but I had it. I saw the whole thing. I don't know. People are hyping up Usyk. I just don't see it, man. I don't see what they see. People think Usyk is great boxer. I just don't see it, man. Because the way how Tony Bellew, who is not this great heavyweight, he's not really a great fighter. He was tagging him with straight rights.
Good fighter, but not a great fighter.
Yeah, Tony Bellew tagged him with straight rights throughout the fight. He was actually outboxing Usyk. Well, clearly he won the first 3 rounds. Yeah, he outboxed him.
I classed him as well. Yeah.
So that's why
his tactics were wrong. Bellew's tactics were wrong. He was too aggressive. He should have paced himself.
Yeah, he should have paced himself.
I think he knew that if he didn't get the knockout, he wasn't going to win.
But he was actually winning the fight, though. He was the one winning the fight.
But he gassed. Come on.
Yeah, he did gas. He definitely gassed. I agree.
Zab Judah was a front runner for, say, 4 rounds against Mayweather, right? But then he obviously put too much into those first 4 rounds.
Yeah, but the difference is Floyd was working the body with Zab Judah.
Yes, he was.
I didn't see Usyk working anybody. I didn't see much body work. He did do some body work, but most of it was headshots, right? And Bellew was, for the most part, dodging those headshots until round 6. He started getting caught in round 6 because he's slowing down. But you're right. Bellew did come out with, I think he didn't pace himself properly. He wasn't punching smooth. He was punching with attention. You can see that. And I think he didn't pace himself. And as an old guy coming down in weight, and that's what Ward was saying all the time. He said, you see that guy coming down in weight? That was the thing that he was worried about. And it proved to be true. It proved to be true. And Usyk was smart. When Usyk started seeing him slowing down, boy, he took it up.
He was patient. But I tell you one thing, I reckon Usyk was panicking a little bit.
Oh, yeah, because he was getting caught with straight rights, clean straight rights. He's a southpaw. He's not supposed to get caught like that.
He took them well.
Yeah, but still he was getting caught. Yeah, I mean, you go up into the heavyweight division and you get hit like that, you get put to sleep, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. That's why I was suggesting that, he fight guys like Chisora or like this guy, what's his name? Dillian White, those kinds of guys. Don't go messing with Anthony Joshua.
Not straight away. I wouldn't say go into Chisora or a White straight away because I reckon he'd lose. He'd lose to them. Yeah. If he went in without a lesser opponent at heavyweight first, I reckon he'd lose. Yeah. So if he maybe had like, I don't know, who would you say is a good gatekeeper at heavyweight?
Chisora. Chisora's kind of high level, but still. Yeah,
but someone a little bit lower. That's what I'm saying. That's where I think he'd be at on his first fight at heavyweight.
Okay, because
those guys might be too much.
Because I was thinking about size-wise and height-wise. Those guys are shorter, so that he'd have the reach advantage on them and all that kind of stuff. So that would help him. But like guys like definitely don't go in with Baby Miller. Don't go in with that dude. Baby Miller would destroy him. Okay, because Baby Miller, that's what Baby Miller likes to go in the pocket and do body punching all the way. But if he would do
a lot of heavyweight problems.
Right now, Baby Miller, I think, is the best heavyweight. To be honest with you, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Because he slips punch, he gets on the inside. He knows how to get on the inside, and he leads with either hand. And I think he beats everybody. But we're not going to get to see it. It's skill wise, not in terms of level of competition. Obviously, he hasn't. But skill wise, you saw the tools he has. He bobs, he weaves, he slips, he slides in. He leads off with either hand. He can shift. He's got good defense. See the defense Jarrett Hurd has, where he could roll on either shoulder. He has that snap back. He swivels, he bobs. You know, he has good footwork. He has good pivot work for a big guy. He got really nice footwork, man. And so I watch all those things. The only thing I'm not clued into how good he is going backwards. I never really seen him go backwards. Baby Miller.
He's never had to.
Right. So I would like to see how he is on the back foot. That's another thing I would like to see. And then I'll say, okay, good. But
how good do you think his chin is?
Miller?
It hasn't been.
No, the thing about it, he protects Usyk?
No, Miller.
Miller. Well, the thing about Miller is he tucks his chin in, so he's always head down. He's kind of like Sean Porter. His head's way down.
So he's protected his chin. It hasn't really been tested.
He's always protecting that chin.
Smart man.
Yeah. And you try to use an uppercut on him. You know, he knows how to nullify that with the turtle shell. Like this. There you go low, and you block the space so the uppercut doesn't come up. You know, so he has all kinds of guards and all kinds of things. He's good. I have to admit. At first I was skeptical about him, but he's good. Now he needs the competition, and then we'll see. But I think he's promising. I'm not going to say
about 40 pounds as well.
He's heavy. He's a big heavyweight. He's massive. Yeah. He's not tall, but he's massive. And the other thing about him, I noticed, I have to say, I'm wrong about saying he would beat the top heavyweights. I can't say that for a fact because we haven't really seen him beat anybody on the top tier. But I would say this. I think he has the skills to do so. So that I don't overhype him, you know. But, yeah, I thought Usyk definitely is smart when it comes to fighting a guy. I notice he stays just out of range. That's his thing. But I really like how, as I said before, I really think Tony Bellew did excellent. I think he did an excellent job. And he made the fight, again.
He did that excellent when he was standing in the corner. And he was like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was really impressed with that. Really impressed.
Yeah, his defenses were on point. His defense is on point. And so I remember when Stevenson had knocked him out. Thing with Bellew, he seems to fade going down the road. You know?
Yeah.
So that was his that's his Hercules heel. So hey, kudos to Usyk on beating him, but I'm not impressed by Usyk. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not impressed by him. He's kind of straightforward as a southpaw. I thought there was more to him. They say he's really, really, really good. And Bellew even says he's really, really, really good. I'm not saying no, but for a really, really good guy, he shouldn't get tagged like that so often by an orthodox fighter. I mean, yes. Bellew tagged him with body shots, head shots, straight rights, of course. And then he would have that left hook he would land on him. I thought he tagged him up really nicely. And there was times when Usyk had to back off because Bellew was really tagging him hard. Nice dig to the body, you know. But Bellew should have worked the body more, though. That was my only criticism. He should have worked the body more. He did not do that. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I'll give you that. But I ate my crow. I thought Bellew would beat him. I really did. Because I don't see how Usyk would have beaten a fighter like that. I think Bellew does a lot more than Usyk does in terms of defense, how he uses his defense. Usyk is more about range. Bellew and blocking punches. Bellew literally rolls, punches, snaps back from punches. What do you call that thing? Not dip. Rolls under punches. Yeah, he does a lot more stuff. You know, the virtual distance. When you think you have him on the ropes, he just kind of rocks back and counter punches you. I love it. So he had a lot more going on there. And he tricked Usyk, the taller guy. He get him to goad him into the range so he could counter punch it. You know, so I liked all of that stuff. But here's what it is. But he an old dog, so time for the new.
Yeah,
the new
would
dog
he like 35?
He's 35.
Yeah,
he's old. He's, you know.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays they don't call that old. Huh?
But he's been in wars. But I think Tony actually fought at a higher level than his talent was, if that makes sense. It was more of his heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He has some skill, man. He has some good skill. I like how he was playing that cat and mouse game with Usyk and winning quite a lot of those little chess games. So I liked it. Yeah.
There was so much emotion in that fight. Do you remember when Bellew
like,
stood in the first second round?
Yeah. It's very entertaining. And when he was on the ropes, he was like, "Can't touch me." He started showboating. He's like, "You can't touch me. You know you can't touch me." He put his hands up in the air like, "What?" That was a showmanship. It was fun, man. It was fun. I liked it.
But I did notice one thing about Usyk's technique. When he throws punches, he doesn't overextend. Like he'll have it out, but he won't really leave himself open.
Overreach. He doesn't overreach.
Yeah, he doesn't overreach. I didn't see that at all.
And he uses the jab. It's a probing jab all the time to keep range and keep you off of him. So he'll just dangle that thing out there and just be doing this, and then
feeler.
Yeah. So that's what. But Bellew handled that well. He goaded him in and counterpunched him. It was good. It's just that he was too tight. They say you're too tight. You're not relaxed enough.
Yes,
and you have to pace yourself. This is a marathon. Yeah. They burnt himself out. And then when you're going down in weight, you don't burn yourself out unless you're Sean Porter. Ridiculous conditioning. I mean, you don't do that. So.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think when he moved up to heavyweight, he put on so much fat as well that if he put on maybe a bit more muscle than fat, he might have found it easier to drop weight. Right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if Roy Jones did it from heavyweight to lightweight, and all right, he said it killed him, but Bellew came from heavyweight to cruiserweight.
Right.
So it wasn't as bad as Roy Jones had to do. To be fair, Roy Jones was probably younger at the time.
But still, it's anytime you're going down in weight, it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya went down from middleweight to I think welter, and that hurt him bad. He almost died. Dehydrated. You look at what's this guy's?
Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a shell of himself that night. That was not Oscar De La Hoya. No, that was just a name in the ring. That was just a name.
He would have died, man. He could have killed himself in that ring. Then you have a number of people who went down in weight. Did they get beaten because of that? So this is nothing new. I even worry about Tyson Fury, him dropping all that weight. He may look good now on the pads and stuff, but in an actual fight where you're taking damage and somebody's actually hitting you or you're blocking punches, I don't know how good that will be. So, I know one guy who was able to do it was Mikey Garcia. He went up to super lightweight, then he came back down to lightweight and fought. But honestly speaking, that's not something, unless you're dropping the weight the night of the fight, the night before the fight, that is to say you have water mass, and you just drop off all that water mass, 25 pounds or whatever, and then you rehydrate back. I don't think it's a good idea to just gradually drop weight over time.
Because it's your liver or your kidneys that doesn't work as efficiently as it does in your 20s in terms of cutting weight. I know it's something related to that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's dangerous, man.
All right.
Anyways. Yes.
Right, no problem. Right,
no
No. All right. See you in the morning. All right.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's yours?
No, that's my nephew's.
All right. That's tight,
I don't
man.
have any kids.
Oh, neither do I. But I wanted to talk about some other fights also besides Usyk and Bellew, which happened over the weekend. I don't know if you caught this fight, which happened with the Puerto Rican fighter.
No. Oh, no. What was his name?
His name is Felix Verdejo. It was a 2-rounder. He faced Yardley Cruz, which was just a punching bag. Like the guy came in to be a punching bag.
No, I saw was it Josh Kelly? No, not Josh Kelly. Who was the guy? Who got the first round knockout? I saw that fight. Or was it second? Maybe it was the second round knockout.
First round knockout of the same Corolla on that card with the same card with Usyk on there.
Yeah.
That would be. I'll tell you. I'm looking at it right. Where is it? Hey. First round knockout. Josh Kelly versus Castillo.
Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah, that guy wasn't on the same level. He was just a punching bag.
Yeah, Kelly looks good, man.
He does
Kelly
look good,
looks good.
He has to step it up.
Well, yeah, but it's it's. It
like,
was just probably a feature bout or something.
If you're getting the guy out there in the first round, and
he wasn't on your level. Yeah, he wasn't on your level. Yeah, you saw Ricky Burns fight. I was asking you, did you see the Ricky Burns fight?
No, I missed that one.
I didn't get to see it either. So Ricky Burns beat Scott Cardle, and then that's the same card. Yeah. Ricky Burns was on that, and Anthony Corolla was on that fight. He beat Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was a good fight as well. I didn't see both of them. I'm still looking out to try and find those fights. The fight I was telling you about was the Puerto Rican dude, Verdejo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember him from HBO. He used to be a superstar until he got knocked out. Well, he came back. He came back in Puerto Rico, and he fought a punching bag guy, Yardley Cruz. The guy never even threw a punch. I think no, he actually threw some left hooks. In the second round, he caught him with a left hook and starched him. Dude was knocked out. So Verdejo, he came back, and Usyk Gamboa, he had a fight also over the weekend. Gamboa. Trying to remember. Yeah, he did. And that was in Florida. He faced a guy called I'll tell you his name. Beltran. Beltran Jr. What was it, Beltran? What Beltran was it? Miguel Beltran Jr. Yeah. And in the first round, he dropped him. He dropped him. Man, he hit him with Gambo is a right-hander, right? He caught him with a left hook to the head, and then he countered with a right hook across the jaw. And that guy fell flat on his face in the corner of the ring. That guy was starched, knocked out. That guy got up, right? He got up after getting knocked down like that in a mean fashion, and the dude started fighting, man. First of all, Gambo was like, he was outboxing him for like 3-4 rounds, and then the later rounds, the dude came back and started landing some body shot, some left hooks to the body. Throughout the fight, they said, the commentator was all biased, so it was like, oh, look at Usyk Gamboa. But I was watching the guy, and the guy was putting in some good work on Gamboa's body, man. He was putting in some good work. Gamboa looked nice, though. He looked pretty, but the guy was actually coming back in the fight, and nobody was really commenting on him. He was game straight through, landed a number of body shots. He even landed 1 or 2 overhand rights on Gamboa. Gamboa still looks solid, but Gamboa wasn't doing much. He was turning him, throwing shots to the head, some body shots, some straight rights to the body. But for the most part, this guy got clean knocked. I would say he was knocked out. Okay, he fell. He was coming at Gamboa in the corner, right? And Gamboa counter punched him. So he was kind of like a check left hook, and then he just cracked him with a right. It was real fast, and the guy was just like fell straight on his head, in the corner. It looked like that's a KO. That's it. The fight's over. This dude got up from that and kept on fighting. I was like so impressed by that, So that fight went 12 rounds.
Do you think Bellew was knocked out or technical knockout?
Well, he got back up on his. That's a TKO still, because even though he went down, he didn't stay down, right? A KO is like when when you go down and that's it. And Bellew was going to fight still. He was going to be game, but he probably have gotten knocked out. He would have got starched because he was slowing down. He was
slowing down from the 6th.
Yeah, for sure. He was slowing down the 6th. He started to get caught.
Shots in the 5th, and I think they really hurt him. And then after the 6th, you could see the damage.
I don't know if anything really. I don't know if anything really hurt him. Maybe you're right. I didn't check the fight, but what I think was, for me personally, I think he was just fighting at a high level too fast.
Check when Bellew's demeanor started to change from him being sort of to just fighting and trying to think rather than show his emotion.
I found that he was staggering coming out in the 8th round. He staggered to come out, and that told me this guy is burned. He's tired. Yeah, he's done. That's what I thought. He had a good rally. You know, he's like, man, I did good. I rallied really well. Right. So the knockout, when he got knocked down, right? Because he froze up. He got caught with a left. Knockdown. Yeah, and then he got a what was it? A right and then a left. Straight right, straight left. Pop, pop. And he just went back. Poof. And when he was getting back up, he looked so tired. So I was like, this dude, you know what this dude said? Man, I made a good go of it. I'm done now. That's the feeling I said from about round 7. And he did a good rally at the end of round 7, you know, going at the guy. But you could see coming, even when you watched him in the corner, when the guy was giving him instructions, like, you know, you have to do this and this. And he's like in the corner like this.
Yeah.
He's tired, man. So, you know, it's a retirement fight. So he reminded me of Bernard Hopkins' retirement fight. Send him off.
What, out the ring?
He got knocked out the ring. You know.
Yeah. So as Jones said, he was out on his feet.
Yeah. Literally out on his feet. Yeah, so you know, it is what it is. But I'm just glad he's okay. And he goes off into the sunset saying, you know what, I gave a good go. When I faced this excellent fighter, I actually was winning rounds. He could say that.
Is in the second Creed movie?
Yes, he was.
He is.
And he got beaten in that one too. Hey, but I'm just joking. To his credit, though, he really superseded himself, man. He, you know, after the Adonis Stevenson loss, he came back from that and did wonderfully. You know what I mean? And even in the Adonis Stevenson fight, he was putting up a pretty good fight until he got caught with that straight left. He was also doing well till he got caught. And again, I just think he gets gassed at a certain point. He gets tired, and that's his downfall. You gotta keep it up.
George Groves. He gives too much too soon.
Right. George Groves was another one that got knocked out, and George Groves was winning the fight. I thought he was winning against Callum Smith, you know, and then he just ran straight into left hook.
That's boxing, isn't it? Only taking one punch.
Yeah, you have to be careful all the time. And that's so, you know, that's what all these guys at the highest level, that's what we don't understand. They could get knocked out with any punch, but they do things to make sure they don't get knocked out with those punches. So at the highest level, you really have to have good defense and a sense of, you know, what you're doing out there so that you don't get hit with something that, you know, like my boy sparks you out. You're just punch drunk after that.
I'm just going to get some juice. I'm still on, okay?
Yes, man. No problem. So I wanted to just talk about a couple other fights. So I was just talking about, first of all, Gamboa. And Gamboa faced Miguel Beltran Jr. I saw that fight. It's a 2-rounder. Well, not really 2 rounds. It's about a round or something. And then Juan Manuel Lopez also faced Christian Ruben Mino. I didn't see that fight, but Lopez was also able to win that fight. So maybe they pair up Lopez with Gamboa. Who knows? Because they were both on the same card. So that would be fun if they, you know, those guys pair up against each other and face each other, right? For those people who don't know who Juan Manuel Lopez is, Juan Manuel Lopez, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he faced guys like Francisco Vargas. Right? He fought Francisco Vargas back in 2014. He also fought Ponce de Leon. He knocked out Ponce de Leon. He also faced Mikey Garcia. Okay. He also faced Orlando Salido twice. Right. So that's who Juan Manuel Marquez is. Juan Manuel Lopez is. For those people who don't know. So it'd be nice to see Lopez. He's now at lightweight. He was at featherweight first, then he moved up to super feather. Now he's at lightweight. It'd be nice to see him pair off against Yorkis Gamboa. So that would be a nice little fight. And that happened over the weekend. So they both won their fights. So that might set up Gamboa versus Lopez. So that should be really cool to see. And in boxing also we have some other fights that happened in Chicago. Krzysztof Glowacki. I don't know if anybody knows who Krzysztof Glowacki is, but Krzysztof Glowacki, he faced Maxim Vlaslov. Okay, for those people who don't know who Krzysztof Glowacki is, if I'm not mistaken, he faced Steve Cunningham, Marco Huck. Right, he beat Marco. He's the guy that knocked out Marco Huck when Marco Huck came on to Premier Boxing Champions. It was supposed to be his feature event where he would showcase himself and everything. And Krzysztof Glowacki actually knocked him out, man. That sucked for him. Right? And then he went on to face Steve Cunningham. He beat Steve Cunningham. He was then the WBO World Cruiserweight Champion. He beat Steve Cunningham, and then he faced Alexander Usyk. And Alexander Usyk beat him by unanimous decision. So Glowacki, he just faced Maxim Vlaslov and was able to beat him. Glowacki's kind of like a brawlerish kind of guy. Marco Huck was outboxing him until later on when Glowacki started working that body. And eventually, it looked at first as if Marco Huck was going to stop him, and then Glowacki came back and stopped. I mean, in some vehement style, he knocked him clean out, Marco Huck. So, yeah. That's he had a fight just recently there at cruiserweight as well in Chicago, and he won his fight. So he only has one loss on his record, which is against Alexander Usyk. Yeah, I didn't get to see the fight, but I know the name, so I decided to talk about it. He now has the interim WBO cruiserweight title. Of course, Alexander Usyk has the WBO cruiserweight title, so maybe he'll be challenging Alexander Usyk once again. Which is Maris Bredis, who faced Alexander Usyk recently. He faced Noel Givor in the tournament, in the Super 6 tournament. Maris Bredis faced Usyk. And so he just had his win as well against Noel Givor for the vacant WBC Diamond Cruiserweight title. It looks like Usyk is going to be moving up to heavyweight, which means these guys are probably going to vie for the titles instead of facing Usyk. It is what it is. I would have liked to see Usyk defend one of his titles before he went up, but looks like he's going up. So
I think he should at least defend. Well, he's defended the crown once now against Bellew.
Bellew wasn't really a cruiserweight though. He was. So it shows his intention to go up to heavyweight. I think that's what it's basically saying. That's why.
But to be fair, Bellew wasn't a real heavyweight.
Right. That's why I say. Because he was fighting at heavyweight, it's nice that Usyk could face him, and then he could just go up to heavyweight now, transition up to heavyweight, because that's what he made the announcement. He's going up to heavyweight, so he can now move up to heavyweight. You know what I mean? And do what he wants to do, just gradually work his way in. I mean, lots of cruiserweights did that. Evander Holyfield, we have Bellew, we have David Haye, we have a bunch of them. So I think he can do well once he put on a little bit more mass on him. Beef himself up a little bit. He has the height.
How tall is he? 6'2"?
6'5"? Usyk?
No, he can't be. No way.
6'3", I think it is.
6'5",
I think it was 6'3".
How tall? Holyfield 6'3"?
Holyfield. That's a good question. I don't know. I think Holyfield's like
probably
6'2",
6'3",
6'2", probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usyk is 6'3", and he got a 78-inch reach. It's not too bad. I mean, 78. If he had an 80-something inch reach, that'd be even better. So he's not that short, but he's still not that tall. You know, they have some giants up in heavyweight right now.
I reckon Usyk against Parker would be a very good fight.
I actually think Parker beats him right now. But if he
I do. I still think it'd be a good fight. Yeah,
it'd be a good fight if he stays at heavyweight, gets a couple tune-ups first to get to feel up the weight class. Yeah,
at least two, I'd say two.
Yeah, at least two. And then Parker is not one to mess around with, man. Parker can do some stuff, man, in there. I was watching Parker. But here's the thing, right? Usyk has been facing mostly European fighters, right? Bellew doesn't really have a European style. He has like George Groves, Bellew, David Hay, what's the other guy's name? James DeGale. They don't really have European styles, right? They have a different kind of style. You know, even Tyson Fury doesn't really have a European style, right? Tyson Fury does have a European style, but what I mean is he still's more slick and uses his shoulder, uses the high guard, uses all these different looks, uses footwork and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's a lot more complex boxing. So when I was looking at Usyk against those kinds of guys, right, not just a guy coming to you with a high guard, you see that it's a little bit more complex. That's why he said that Tony Bellew was his toughest fight so far, which he's being absolutely honest with. And you could see it, right, in the fight. So when you start to look at like a guy like Tony, like Parker can mix it up and do different things. He is limited because you can see with Hughie Fury, he was kind of limited. And he doesn't know how to close the distance, close the range properly on people. But you still see that he could do different things. Even against Anthony Joshua, he held his own, right? He held his own against Anthony Joshua. And so, yeah. So, I mean, you got to give him his props and his respect. So I would prefer if Usyk gets like two to three fights first before he faces a Tony Parker. Because I think Parker could do a lot of different things.
To be fair, in the AJ fight, AJ didn't really take any risks. So he, in effect,
uses range.
Parker,
yeah.
What he was, in my opinion.
I think cautious. Yeah, he was trying. He had to because Parker is able to get in, you know. So, but I would like to see Usyk. Once Usyk, you know, gets a little bit more size on him, kind of a little stronger, because I don't think he's a powerful puncher, but he has nice timing. Yeah, good timing.
No, he has power, but he doesn't show it very often.
He's got good timing. Like how he knocked out Tony Bellew. That was a straight left that Tony Bellew ran into trying to counterpunch him, and then when Bellew was kind of tired, and then he hit him as he froze up there. He hit him, boom, boom. He hit him the 1-2. It's just kind of like with Gamble. Gamble caught the guy coming in. Once that guy's coming in on you, if a guy's frozen up, you can hit them the 1-2, pop up. So you yank the head this way and then that way, and it's done deal, right? That's the trick. When you're knocking out somebody, it's not just one punch. You can't knock out someone with a punch. I mean, some people could do it, but most of the time, if you yank the head this way and then you yank it back this way, the brain does this, bam, bam, right inside there, and that's it, right? Don't matter how strong you are. 1-2 like that, you can take it on the chin maybe one way, but you can't take it another. You can't take a perfect punch back the other way. You're gonna get knocked out. So that's what happened with Bellew. So he was knocked. I was surprised he got up, to be honest with you. Okay, he was clean gone.
Yeah, but when I saw his eyes, he was just like,
he was clean gone.
His eyes were just buzzed, completely buzzed.
Yeah, he was completely
buzzed. Exhausted as well, but he was buzzed. He was buzzed.
And that dude just has automatic pilot. He just gets up. Even with Adonis Stevenson, he was worse with Adonis Stevenson. He was completely defenseless. He was gone, right? This dude is trying to turn around and fight still. And I'm like, dude, like he has this automatic thing like Timothy Bradley when he was knocked out clean. Like Bradley was knocked out fighting Provodnikov. I don't know if you remember that fight.
What, in the underoos?
He was out. Bradley was out. He's throwing punches still. And I'm like, dude, Bradley's throwing punches at this guy and stuff. You never saw Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provodnikov? You never saw that fight?
Oh, no, he wasn't knocked out.
Oh,
He
he
was
was
hurt.
clean.
He was
Oh,
hurt.
he was concussed.
Oh, he was
Bradley
out on his
had to
feet.
take
He was out on his
oxygen.
feet.
He had to take
Yeah,
oxygen
yeah.
after that fight. He in fact, he said he doesn't remember the
He
interview
finished
he
that
had.
fight.
Huh?
He finished that fight, though,
He
didn't
finished
he?
it
But
and won it.
he was. Freddie Roach said he was slurring his words for about 6 months after that fight, as in Bradley.
Bradley
So
was
he had brain damage
gone.
after that.
Bradley was
Oh, he had
out
brain
on
damage.
his feet. Yeah, he was out on his feet.
Mm.
He was fighting autopilot. And that's scary because he could have been killed. Because Ruslan was just destroying him.
Yeah. I think that's why he retired when he did, because he taken too much.
Oh yeah, and that fight, I'm telling you, he was knocked out. He was performing, but he was not there. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And some guys, they like, you kill me, I'm fighting still, right?
Bradley came from light welterweight, 140.
Right. Yeah. And Ruslan wrecked him. I'm telling you, he wrecked that guy.
Ruslan took some licks as well in that fight. He was hurt too.
He was mashed up. His face was all bloodied and everything.
Oh,
But I'm just saying, there's some fighters who are just born fighters. Like you, the only way you really gonna get them to stop is if you kill them in the ring. Because even if they're clean knocked out, they're knocked out. They're gonna get up.
They'll be jabbing on the ground.
Yeah, you remember the guy who's throwing punches on the ground? Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, but literally these guys, that's what they do. They fight. So it's like they're always in the fight mode. And it's amazing. I mean, we laugh at it, but it's scary because these guys are like, if I go in that ring and I don't come back out alive, too bad. Which is what happened to the 49-year-old recently. I think it was over the weekend as well. Yeah, he got killed, man. He died in the ring. In fact, after he was knocked clean out, that was it. He never woke up after that. So, you know, it's that dangerous, man. And
you see, I think once you get to a certain age, if you want to be a professional boxer, that they should mandate that you have to have heavier gloves.
I don't know, man.
Because, I don't know. The thinner the gloves, the more force transfers. So if it's softer, well, at least it's something. You know, if you're going 16, 18, 20 ounce gloves or whatever it is.
But what happens if the guy is so mentally strong that he's just taking that punishment nonstop and he's not quitting? Like in the fight with what was the fight that recently happened? With I can't remember what fight it was. It was at the lower weight class. With this guy, he was taking a lot of punishment, and the guy would not stay down, and the referee had to stop the fight because this guy was just taking a lot of punishment. And the worst thing in the world, if you get knocked out, you know, if you get knocked clean out, that's better than if you're just taking punishment straight through for 12 rounds. Right? That could really mess up your head, right? So as valiant as these guys are, you know, they could end up with some serious brain trauma at the end of it and nervous trauma. So I wonder about that. And a guy like Tony Bellew, just imagine if this was old school days, that referee would actually let Tony Bellew get up, stand up, and fight still until he was clean sparked out.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Hanging out of his mouth.
Oh, he's hanging halfway out the ring.
Oh, did you see that Roy Jones knockout? The zombie one? Oh my God. Yeah,
the guy's eyes would roll up in his head.
Oh.
So that's what used to happen back in the day. But nowadays, if you try to do that, more people will die. They'll kill people in there, man.
Yeah. We should do a little video series on Nigel Benn, Michael Watson, Chris Eubank, and all those guys of the era, because there was 2 tragic fights, but they're all connected with these fights. And most of them are British guys. Sorry.
The American guy that you're talking about is
McLennan.
McLennan, yeah.
Yeah, and then also from Michael Watson.
He was seriously tragic. McLennan is a tragedy. Sad story. Man. And he could crack. McLennan could crack, boy.
Oh, he was. you know what? Nigel Benn was lucky in that first round because people were actually pushing him back in the ring, which is not within the rules.
Yep.
And you should watch that fight. Brilliant fight, though. Brilliant fight.
Those fights were crazy. And again, the guys fought with a lot of passion and stuff. Nowadays, I think guys fight with passion, but they more strategic. So it's like you make a round move, I'm going, God will fry you. You know? So today it's much more strategic, I think, than while I think the difference, I did a series on this, the evolution of boxing. I think it's not that today the boxers are per se they have more of the old school skills. It's not that they have more of the old school skills, because obviously some of the old school skills have been lost. But I think boxing has evolved into something a little bit different, where there's a lot of science behind it. So there's a lot of you know, how you eat now. They're very particular about how you eat. What sort of, like, you know, with snags right now, with snacks, sorry. They know how to get you in hyperbaric chambers and all these other special things that they do now. And the boxers today are heavier than the boxers of yesteryear. You had same day wear-ins. And then the other thing about it was the boxers today hit a lot harder. I will tell anybody, because they're better athletes, a lot harder than the boxers yesteryear for two reasons. One, the boxers today, they have more sports science behind them. So there's a lot of science behind what they do, as well as they get more rest. The other boxers back in the day, they would fight much more often. And while that kept you knowing the sport much better, you still had to, you didn't get enough rest for the body to build up after a you know, a fight. So what you end up with is they had a whole bunch of fights. Right. And I would even say the quality of competition now that we get is higher than back then in terms of you're really getting the very best, right? And since it takes a little time for them to face each other, they get a lot of experience. And so it's not just a relentless thing where I'm fighting this guy, fighting that guy, fighting this guy, fighting that. No, now it's we got enough rest. We have perfect tip-top condition. We use all the science in the world to be really good. And we go in there and we're really going to punish each other. But we are so trained, and some of them are juicing and all of that. We're so trained and stuff that we're kind of superhuman. So we could take certain things and stuff, and we come out of the ring, because some of these guys crack each other with some nasty, nasty shots and no bruising. Your eyes aren't even getting puffy. You're not even getting tired in between. These guys have conditioning now. They're just going. They take punches and they keep going. These guys, this breed of fighter, Terrence Crawford. Watch Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, he don't get tired, right? You going 12 rounds and you're not even tired. You know, you look at Sean Porter. This guy's a beast. He takes heavy, heavy punches and he keeps coming. Something's weird about that, right? So it's like you look at that kind of thing. You used to see it in old school, but not in the level, not to the level that you see it now. What I mean by that is, in two championship fights back to back, you wouldn't see a fighter just walking through punches or kind of rolling punches a certain way and stuff. There were certain fighters that could do that, but for the most part, you know, Roberto Duran was one of them. But even Duran couldn't take Thomas Hearn's punches. You know, Thomas Hearn was known as a puncher, right? You watch at Sean Porter, he's taking Kell Brook's punches. Kell Brook can punch. Kell Brook can punch. Yeah. He's a big welterweight. Yeah. He took those punches and kept coming, right? He took punches from Keith Thurman, who can crack, right, and kept coming, right? He took punches from Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia's a puncher. That's 3 punches this guy took, from flush punches. He ain't going to sleep, right? And so I'm just saying, I mean, he's a much bigger dude than Duran, right? He come from 180 all the way down. But the point is, and that's even amazing, because this guy's a 180 pounder, come down to 147, and they got this nutrition to pack this 180 pounder. Basically, it's a 180 pounder packed into a 147 pounder body. So this guy ain't gonna get knocked out by nobody. And somehow he has the strength and the veracity of a 180 pounder trapped in a 147 pounder body. So that's what we talk about. I don't know how they did it, because I thought he would be drained or something. I don't know how they did it, but it's against sports science. And
Spence?
That is Sean Porter. Showtime Sean Porter.
Oh, Sean Porter.
He's a big dude. but
And
they
he won't be
really
able
keep
to
him
do that
on point with nutrition.
once he gets. Is he 30 yet?
Porter?
Yeah,
I don't
he
think
must
so.
late
I think
20s.
he's still in his 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to do that for more than a couple of years.
No, his dad said his career is coming to an end pretty quickly. So yeah, he can't do it forever. But it's crazy because he's on a specific kind of diet, and that's how they keep him lean. And he has
I don't even think Sean Porter drinks.
no, he doesn't drink anything like that, and his heart rate is ridiculously low. He could run a whole bunch of laps around a field, and his heart rate would be low. Like his conditioning is ridiculous. You know, even when Adrian Broner dropped Sean Porter, you would think that Sean Porter was damaged. No, he turns around, he looks like this. Ooh, that was heavy. And then he goes right back at Adrian Broner as if nothing happened. You know, the dude's condition is ridiculous, man. I've never seen nobody like that. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we have in this age. This age is more about athleticism, the science of boxing in terms of nutrition and health and just the well-being. I think we have much more healthier athletes as boxers today than yesterday. And then there's new techniques. You look at Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's brought something totally different to the, Tyson Fury's brought, Tyson Fury's a freak of nature because he's 6'9", all right? Moving like if he's 5'3", quick, right? And he mixes up old school with new school. You look at guys like Jarrett Hurd. Hold on a second. Hello? Hello? Calling my name. I just had to go 1 second, right? Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. Some guests came by, wanted to speak with my mom, so my mom came out to see them, and they were calling. Yeah. So let me get to some of the other fights that we had over the weekend. But Usyk, man, we got to pay attention to him, like you said, and see how he progressed. There's another fight that happened over the weekend. It was Jasmine Rivas, and she defended her title against title against Cristina Pacheco. I don't know if you watch women's boxing.
Some of it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see this fight. I wanted to see it over the weekend. She defended her title successfully. She is a how many division world champion? She is a she is the bantamweight world champion. Okay, she was bantamweight world champion. She was also super bantamweight world champion. Now she was bantamweight and super bantamweight world champion. So the one
what country is she from?
Super bantamweight.
What country is she from?
Oh, Mexico.
Oh, right.
She's from Mexico. She's a Mexican. Jasmine Rivas. So she defended her title for I believe it's the second time. This is the second time she's defending her title. And this was against Cristina Pacheco. And she was able to win the 10-rounder. I believe these 10-rounders are 2 minutes. So in women's boxing, 10-rounders are generally 2 minutes, not 3 minutes like in men's boxing. So she was able to defend her title, which was really cool. That happened over the weekend. I'm trying to find footage on it to see the fight, but I have not been able to do that. And on the same card, that same card, Jackie Nava, who is a former world champion, she's also super bantamweight world champion, or former super bantamweight world champion. She was able to defend her title against Clarissa Alvarez. Yeah, she stopped her in the 7th round. I didn't get to see that. It's on the same card. She's from Tijuana, Mexico. You know, Tijuana, Mexico is a place where a lot of boxers come from. I know this. Canelo, all of those Mexican boxers, a lot of them come from Tijuana. And she's no different. Jackie Nava, I remember her facing a southpaw from Jamaica. And she got the decision over Alicia Ashley was the southpaw. I really like Alicia Ashley. She's really sweet to watch. But she got the majority decision of Alicia Ashley. I didn't agree with it, but it is what it is. And it was what was it? She got a majority decision. It was a draw by Hector Afu, and I watched that fight. So she's going on to defend her title a couple of times, gets a couple other titles. Good for her, man. So here now she just faced Clarissa Alvarez and defeated her over the weekend. So that's a little something in women's boxing. You know, throw that in.
I'm very questions about women's boxing, actually.
Yeah, you know who else? You know who else is going to be fighting at the end of this year? A dominant welterweight. She is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Cecilia Braekhus. Everybody talks about what's her name? They talk about this middleweight champion. I forgot what her name is, from America. You know who I'm talking about. She's trained by. She's in the same camp with Andre Ward, and I think she's on the zone now.
Is she a model? No, that's someone else.
She's not a model. I'm trying to remember what her name is. Well, for some reason, I just forgot what her name is. She's the women's middleweight champion.
Are they allowed to hit each other in the chest?
You're allowed to hit the person anywhere on their body. Just not in the groin, not below the belt. Yeah, of course.
For women.
Yeah, of course they can. But then again, they got padding in the chest, so they don't have no problems.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, they don't have padding, not like actual padding. I mean, they have breasts, so they have padding, so it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not the same, you know what I mean? So they basically do the same things. Liver shot, stab to the pit, spleen shots, the usual thing. You don't usually punch somebody in the chest. You ever notice that in boxing? They don't really do that.
Holyfield did a little bit.
It would hurt a little bit if you hit him in the solar plexus, like right below the, below the, just between the, what do you call it? Between the stomach and the lungs. There's abdominals right there. You hit them in there, that could, that could bring a person down. But AA boxing and blunts, 6'3", but closer to 6'4". AA boxing and blunts was talking about Usyk, I think it was. Hey, shout out to you, AA boxing and blunts. He's in the chat section. You can check out the chat section if you want.
Doing that now.
Yeah. So
blunts.
Yeah, you see him. So
see him.
Brackus and Cecilia Brackus is going to be boxing at the end of this year along with Chocolatito. I don't know if you know Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez.
Oh,
yeah. He's going to be fighting on the same card with her. That's HBO's last telecast on boxing, the very last one. I think it's December the 20-something, 25th, 24th probably. I can't remember. Maybe the 21st. Could be the 21st. The same time with Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. So I hope Tyson Fury can handle Deontay Wilder, man, but Cecilia Brackus, she's really, really good. She's been around for a while, man. She's been around for a while, and she's been dominant. Cecilia Brackus. She's actually from Colombia. Do you know about her?
No, I've heard the name a lot, but I haven't actually checked her out.
Oh, she's dope, man. Undefeated, 34 fights. Yeah, dominant. She has the IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO titles. Yep, and she's fought just about everybody in welterweight. And she's got a really good reputation. So I'm glad that finally she's getting some shine outside of Europe. And HBO is actually going to feature her. And yeah, she's been dominant, man, for a good while. You should watch how she fights as well. Fighting style is not that bad. She takes.
It must be hard for the women because I don't reckon they're going to get anywhere near the purses that the men get.
Oh no, they don't get. Nope. Unless you were Layla Ali back in the 90s or what's her name that was training some people. No, they don't get that shine. Then now, because there's another American boxer on the scene, I forgot what her name is. For some reason, I can't remember her name right now. You know what? Let me just look for champions. She's there. But I think she's a middleweight. Oh, these are men. Don't we have? That's so sad. When they talk about boxing and they talk about boxing champions, you know what they go to? Men. There are no women boxing champions. You know that? I find that so sad. Like boxing is supposed to be this man sport or something. What's up with that? You ever saw Amanda Serrano?
Nope.
She's good. She's good. You should watch.
You should do some videos.
Yeah, I think I need to do some videos on women's boxing because, women box too. And not to say that I'm not trying to do no equality nonsense or nothing. It's just that just as our men grow up. Yeah, and just how our men grow up in rough and tough neighborhoods and you have gangs, you also have women gangs and stuff. And some of these women came up from rough places. And some of them just like to fight. They love to fight. And like Cecilia Brackus. You look at her, you would not think she's a fighter because her nose is straight and everything. Usually when you're fighting and you're boxing, your nose is messed up, right? Her nose is not messed up, right? But that doesn't mean that she hasn't taken punches in the face and blood and all that stuff. It's just that she doesn't take it as much as other people. So, but she's good. She's really good. I'm glad they're featuring her. Chocolatita's coming back to try and avenge a loss, I think it is. And that's how it's going with them. But yeah, I'll do some videos on women boxing because I think it's really awesome. And they don't get the shine that they deserve. I think some of them really put up a hell of a performance. Some of them scrap. I don't like the scrapping, but some of them have skill. Some of them have some real serious skill, and they really should get some shine for it. I'm forgetting who I'm talking about. The gold medalist Oh my gosh, and her name begins with C too. Current female. Yeah, here we are. List of current female boxing champions. I think she's a champion right now. Clarissa Shields. That's the one I'm talking about. Everybody talking about Clarissa Shields.
Yeah. I've heard of her. I'll be honest, I haven't checked out many of these.
She only got 6 fights, and she's a world
So I've heard the
champion.
name.
Yeah, but you know what?
How many of these female boxers do you reckon have, like, say, 5 brothers, and that's why they're so tough?
Some of them just grew up tough. Some of them grew up in tough neighborhoods. Some of them grew up in gangs. Some of them, you remember, because a lot of people in boxing come from tough places. Who's another interesting person at super welterweight? You should check her out, from Costa Rica, Hannah Gabriels. But she's like she plays it off as a pretty woman kind of thing. So she plays it off as pretty, but when she's fighting, is a different story. But she's kind of cool to watch. She's got kind of limited. Some of her skills are limited, but she's cool to watch. Hannah Gabriels, right? Clarissa Shields is good. Christina Hammer, I've seen her fight. She's also undefeated. I would love to see Christina Hammer face Clarissa Shields, and let me see how Clarissa could bring to the table. Clarissa's young. I mean, 6 fights and you're already a world champion, and unified at that. WBA, IBF, And then the other thing with women's boxing is not a lot of women participating in these sports, so you have a lot of vacant titles and stuff. But
there's not that much of a talent pool.
No, that's the problem. Unless you're a celebrity or something, And then a lot of these women who really actually box, most of them are doing it now in Europe. Not so. There is a lot of women boxing in America, but it doesn't get the shine that you probably get in Europe. So like Cecilia Braekhus, she went all the way to Norway, and she's like the celebrity up there. But the best women boxers, I'll tell you right now, are the Argentinian ones. They know their boxing. And you got, every now and then you get a special boxer from places like Colombia. Where did Duran come from? Duran came from
Puerto Rico?
No, he's South America. Not Colombia. Not Costa Rica.
I'll find out.
But he that place.
One second.
Same place Chocolatito comes from. Chocolatito comes from that place. So those kinds of places are rich in boxing, man. Central American place and South American place. I don't think it's Nicaragua. It's another place. Maybe it's Nicaragua. I can't remember. But in terms of Panama, yeah, Panama, boy, them Panama boys bad. They are bad, and women. Anybody coming from Panama is bad. I'm telling you. Of course, Mexico is known for their boxing, so you know how it goes with them. But that's mostly it. United States has not really been in the forefront with boxing. The only persons you hear in boxing, and they end up on cards, like recently, this lady won a title. I forgot what her name is right now. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. She's from the United States. I think she's from New York. Heather Hardy. You heard of Heather Hardy?
No, sorry, I haven't.
Heather Hardy was on the card with let me see. She was on what card? She was on a New York card recently. And she gets banged up a lot. She really can't box that well. But she's been featured a lot, so kudos to her. She's not really a great boxer like the other boxers we're telling you about, but she finally won a world title. So yeah, those are the people. Jasmine Rivas, those are the real deals, I think, in boxing. I think I mentioned some of them. You can follow them. There was one also called the Mexican Doll or something like that. But she could fight, but most people liked her for her looks. So that's the other downside with women's boxing. Sometimes they have to add in all these little gimmicks to get their boxing, people to actually follow them. But by and large, man, there's some good women boxers out there. So like Cecilia Braekhus, definitely. Heather Gabriels, is somebody to look at. Clarissa Shields, so far I'm not really impressed, but it is what it is. She throws a lot of hands. And then some of the Mexican boxers, you know. There's only one Mexican heavyweight boxer, Alejandra Jimenez. I haven't really seen her fights. She looked kind of sloppy, but she's undefeated. But yeah, that's what.
I think, to be fair, women's boxing is in the shadow of MMA, women's MMA.
Right.
I think that's
women's MMA did very well under what's her name? What's that? What's the lady's name that was in MMA? And then she got knocked out. Yeah,
the actress.
Right, she's an actress.
Fast and Furious. She got knocked out by Holly Holmes.
Yeah, Holly Holmes knocked her out.
Oh, that was
leg kick. Yeah, leg kick.
That was brutal.
So yeah, here, right? So she made women's boxing very entertaining, but you know, there's a number of women boxers who are really, really good. I'm not women boxers. I'm women MMA fighters who are really, really good. Like I forgot what her name is, but that lady who made it kind of popular, she was entertaining. She wasn't necessarily.
The judo champion.
I forgot what her name.
I can't remember her name.
I know if I type
Amanda Nunes as well, but I can't remember who she is. If you put in Fast and Furious,
right? Ronda Rousey.
That's it. But to be fair, Ronda Rousey was very, very good, but I think she believed her own hype.
Right. Exactly. But she wasn't the best. She wasn't the best out there. Just like Conor McGregor.
Very, very good.
She's very, very good. No doubt about that. Conor McGregor also was very good. Yeah, Conor McGregor was very, very good as well. But I wouldn't call him the best MMA fighter out there. There was a lot of them.
No, I'd say he's up there, but he's not the best.
No, he's not the best. But he's good though, like you said. Mm-hmm. And he did some unprecedented things. He had 2 belts in 2 different weight classes. So that was big, you know.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think that was more of a case of having what's the bald-headed guy who's in charge of MMA?
Dana White.
Who's always on? Yeah,
Dana White.
I think it was because he had Dana White in his pocket, or
Dana White was pushing him. Okay.
Well, think about it. McGregor is the golden goose. So obviously they're going.
Oh yeah, he makes money. McGregor makes money. Ronda Rousey made money. You know, the lady before Ronda Rousey made money as well before she got beat up too. So it's a gimmick, sort of like, but it worked. It worked. You know, John Jones was good for a while. People talked about him, and then poof, the cocaine thing, and he's gone. So it is what it is. Holly Holm got beat up. So Holly Holm's not there. You can't really ride on Holly Holm anymore. But she did some remarkable things too. She crossed over from boxing to MMA, so that's good for her.
Do you know how old Holly Holm is? She's old.
Really?
I think she's like 34, 35.
Wow.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think she's like mid-30s.
Also, she's a veteran. She's a veteran boxer. And
well, MMA she's veteran in age, maybe. I don't know about boxing, but...
No, boxing, if you are 34, 35 back in the day, like back in Muhammad Ali in the time, you were ancient. Nowadays, you know, people age much more gracefully. And I just turned on the fact it's really hot. But people age much more gracefully now, and they're actually fitter now. Okay, Manny Pacquiao's what, 39, almost 40 years old, and he's still performing. That's impressive. And you look at guys like.
To be fair, I mean, I've been a Manny Pacquiao fan for a long time, but I reckon he's being on something. But
well, everybody kind of thought.
IMO. My opinion.
I don't know if he's on something or he's just a high octane
kind of guy.
I think he's on
something for the last fight. Why would he look so spectacular? And then I know his punching power.
Though. Matisse's not
power seemed to be there for that fight.
Yeah, but Matisse was a guy that was history, man. His last fight he was knocked out. So
Well,
Matisse is
the only way we're going to find out is in Manny Pacquiao's next fight. Then we'll get a proper measure for it.
right. I don't think he's going to stop Broner, so that's not happening. So as I said before, I think Pacquiao hits hard though. He hits hard because even when USADA and they were coming through testing their blood and stuff, he was in the fight in round 4. He hit Floyd and Floyd went back. I mean, he hit him good. He has good punching power. He has good pop, you know, and he's quick. So I'm not surprised that even when you take away all the supposedly performance enhancing stuff, because they were tested to their teeth, right? So he didn't have the performance enhancing stuff in him, and he still had the pop. He still had that power. So he does have power.
Yeah, but in the Floyd fight, he didn't have the same output. Now, I know there's an argument for that. Right. Floyd shut him down, but when Floyd was against the ropes, Manny would hit him, and Floyd would cover up, and then Manny would step back.
Right, why? Because he could get counterpunch. So he was actually, I think, fighting smarter than harder. Remember, he rushed into Marquez to go for the kill, and Marquez put him to sleep. So he went to sleep. He was literally face first on the ground.
I think he's in a coma.
So I don't think he'd be rushing it. Do you notice he doesn't do the double step anymore? He doesn't do that.
Yeah, he was saying that.
And rush it and leap it. He doesn't do that anymore. So I think I think he got smarter. And even when he fought Timothy Bradley the 3rd time, I thought he actually did a really good job because he wasn't trying to just prance around like a mad Tasmanian devil. That's stupid. Like I could imagine if he fought Floyd back in 2009, 2010, Floyd would have knocked him out, man. It's just too crazy. You just too wild. You won't get knocked out. You would get sparked out like Ricky Hatton.
I have a different opinion.
He'd have got knocked out like Ricky Hatton. He'd have come leaping in midair and he'd have got check hooked, and that would have been it. No. Because
look. One, Ricky Hatton was tough for like welterweight, but Manny Pacquiao is so much tougher than Ricky Hatton.
Doesn't matter. He was gonna get. Do you see what Marquez did him? He's tough.
That punch. Tough. He had all that power. What was it, like a 6-inch punch? Freddie Roach called it.
Yeah, he leaned in on that overhand right like Marcos Maidana did to Floyd. But Floyd was a lot of
welterweights. If they took a punch, they were gonna sleep.
Yeah, the difference is Floyd is well balanced when he does a punch. So even when he goes all the way through with a punch, he's not overextending himself. So when Marcos Maidana landed that overhand right on Floyd, he went back. Floyd suddenly got Floyd suddenly got pulled.
Floyd was like this. He was like this on the corner holding onto the rope. If that punch had landed halfway through the round, might have been night.
If Floyd had overextended, I love how Marcos Maidana set him up because he was pull counting Marcos Maidana all the time. That was sweet, boy.
and didn't Floyd lose a tooth in that punch?
No, he didn't lose a tooth, but I'm telling you right now, he gimped to the corner. He was like, boom, boom. He sat down. And he was like, and then he started grinning at Marcos Maidana shamefully on the other side because Marcos Maidana outsmarted him, completely outsmarted him. And he was just, he really took that, boy. And then Marcos Maidana piled it on him. But if Marcos Maidana had a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more tact, you know.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Use that a bit more.
He needed to bait him in a little bit more again, get him overconfident, and then crack him again. That's what he's supposed to do, you know. But he didn't set it up nice after that. He just tried to go for the kill and then try to out jab him and stuff. And I was like, man, just set the guy up again. Do it again. You know, but see, that's the thing.
I reckon if the De La Hoya fight that happened maybe 2 years earlier, I reckon De La Hoya would have had that. But
with Floyd?
We'll never know. Yeah. Come on. De La Hoya is an alcoholic, a drug addict, right?
The problem with De La Hoya was De La Hoya fights in a style that could be neutralized. We saw it with Pernell Whitaker. We saw it with who else we saw it with? We saw it with not Felix Trinidad. Felix Trinidad, he outboxed him.
Stern. Oh, sorry, no.
You know who else? Shane Mosley. So Shane Mosley was able to neutralize that style. Shane Mosley was able with the jab. Shane Mosley used a certain
double feints.
Yeah, those double feints, man. It frees him up. So that's, I think, where Floyd constantly would have had the advantage over him. But when it comes to like, I'll tell you a fighter who could have beaten him. I think I would have loved to see a Floyd Cotto 2. I don't think Cotto might have beaten him, but it would have been closer. Floyd Cotto 2. That would have been, because the first Floyd Cotto match, Cotto wasn't having nothing. Cotto was doing what he wanted to do in that fight.
Yeah, but Cotto was too. He emptied his tank too quickly. He should have taken a bit more time in that fight.
See, because everybody always thinks you have to flood him with punches so that you could get, but Floyd will just, like you said, he just picks the punches off and duds them or whatever. So you have to pace yourself also against him. Otherwise, because he's looking for you to fade, and once you fade, he'll go on you. That's what happened with Pacquiao and him. Pacquiao started landing most of the punches, and Floyd was covering up and just watching him and waiting, because he's covered up, but he's watching you all the time. He's watching you. Okay, okay. He's watching to see what, if you get a little tired or something, and he will catch you in between a shot. So you extend a shot, he'll catch you underneath the arm. He'll catch you underneath the arm, and you want to pull back. And when you pull him back, that's when he advances and starts to tee off on you, and then you pull back. You just suddenly pull back and just wait on you again. So that's the thing. You have to be careful with that guy. And I think Pacquiao realized that from round 1 when he got caught with that counter right. Came in with the left to set up the left, and Floyd just cracked him with the guard. He was like, no, I don't think this is not that kind of fight.
That's not working.
No, this is not this kind of fight. Can't just proceed that way. Yeah, but Pacquiao, man, yeah, I do believe he used performance-enhancing drugs. Do I think Floyd used performance-enhancing drugs? I don't pass it by him either, because the kind of stamina and the kind of you got to be using something, man. You know, all of these high-performance athletes, they're using something. Maybe it's not something that is banned by the governing bodies, but you are using something to enhance.
Never know.
Yeah, because, you know, these guys sometimes
let me tell you something about your maximum heartbeat as you age, right? Say your maximum heartbeat at the age of 20 is 200. Right. On average. Right. You lose, for every year that you get older, your maximum heartbeat goes down by 1 on average. Now, it is variable, right? But the thing is, if you're talking about a 40-year-old fighter, then his maximum heartbeat won't be anywhere near what it was when he was 20. So he won't be able to rev it out as much. You remember, rev it out, throw as many punches and recover as quickly. Exactly. Or the activity level just won't be as high. It'll still be good, but won't be as high. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is an obvious example. Forget about whether or not you use PEDs. His output declined a lot in the last 5 years, or maybe a bit more than that. Exactly.
And I think what I like about him, unfortunately for him with Jeff Horn, he was overwhelmed by Jeff Horn, but what I like about him is that he was able to adapt his style somewhat and fight a little bit smarter. So he would pick his shots more. And he reminded me of the early version of Manny Pacquiao I saw in the United States, where he would go to the body a little bit more, you know, lead lefts to the body, left uppercuts more, that kind of stuff. Pacquiao. You know, early when he was facing a guy called, what was his name?
Verdejo?
It was in the United States, I think it was on Showtime. Oh no, I think it was on HBO, where I think it was Boxing After Dark or something, where he faced the African world champion. Real classy dude. And really beat the crap out of him. I mean, he beat that guy up bad. And the guy was a really good, solid boxer. But he would catch him.
Oh, is this when Pacquiao took the fight 2 weeks notice?
Yes, that fight.
Yeah.
He really beat up that guy, and I loved it because he was landing some nice body shots, and I kind of veered away from body punching, but he had some nice body punches on that guy. He was using mostly the left hand, but I mean, he was beating that guy up bad. You know,
it's almost a lost art now, body punching, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing to break down your opponent. I looked at when I was watching what's his name? I was watching Adrian Broner versus Jesse Vargas. And everybody's talking about, you know, how Broner came back in that fight, and he did come back. Jesse Vargas never stopped landing punches to Adrian Broner's body. Never. And Adrian Broner was taking the punches well and still walking to Jesse Vargas, but and he did land the harder punches than Vargas, right? But Vargas landed some. He just kept on going with the left hook to the body, straight to the fight. And I could understand why Jesse Vargas thought he won that fight, because he was the one landing the punches most of the time. The problem was Adrian Broner was doing more eye-catching punches, and when he hit Jesse Vargas, he really rocked him. But yeah, I thought Jesse Vargas, if you're talking about based on punches landed and activity, I thought he won the fight. If you're talking about in terms of somebody who was giving some really hard, effective punches to snap back a guy's head, and really when you dig a punch to the body, it really was a good punch. Adrian Broner was doing something there, especially in the later rounds. From rounds, I think 4 onwards, he really picked it up. But
I've got like a random question for you, and it's to do with scoring of fights and effective punching. Holyfield, when he fought Valiev, who did you have winning that fight?
Holyfield, when he fought who?
The giant.
Galata?
Valiev. Valiev.
I don't know who that is. I don't think I saw that fight. I gotta go look at it.
He's the tallest boxer in history. He's the tallest champion ever. He was 6'7" or something like that.
Whoa, Holyfield fought a guy like that? I gotta go see that fight.
Yeah, and that's who David Hay won the WBA heavyweight strap off.
Okay, could the guy box though?
Say again?
Could the tall guy box?
He could, but he wasn't that fast on his feet. But he still was very, very good. Imagine a bigger poor man's Tyson Fury, but not as flashy, no flashiness.
Right, but you said he's kind of slow on his feet. Man.
Yeah, Holyfield. No, not Holyfield. John Ruiz fought him twice.
John Ruiz fought him twice. Wow, John Ruiz, who used to box and clinch, the Mexican champion. The guy who Roy Jones Jr. faced.
Yes, that one.
Okay, and Ruiz beat him.
No, Ruiz. Oh, did he beat him? I think he lost some points. I think Ruiz lost some points. He might have won the first match, but he lost the second. Oh, no, he might have lost both. I'm not sure, but on points. This guy, he's massive, and he's got such a big head.
You said he has such a big head. That's funny, man.
Oh, it's massive. But David Hay broke his hand when he landed on his jaw. He said it was like punching a brick wall.
Oh, I know this guy. Now I know who you're talking about. Nikolai Valiev. Yes, I know him.
That's him.
Yes. Oh.
I think he's Ukrainian. No, not Ukrainian. He might be Russian.
I'm trying to remember that fight between Holyfield and him. Why? What are we saying now? How do you score that fight?
I give it to Holyfield, but by 1 round.
I'd have to go watch that fight.
So did Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis says no, Holyfield made that. But obviously Lennox Lewis would want someone he beat to be greater.
What I want to know is who was fighting whose fight?
Which fight specifically, and I'll tell you what I thought.
Holyfield versus Villeneuve.
Holyfield basically tried to get into his chest and stay close.
So did he do that?
And he did, yeah. He was very successful most of the time, and he didn't really get clipped with any substantial. Trust me, when that guy hits you clean, you're going 9-9. Yeah.
Okay, so so you're saying that Villeneuve was not fighting his fight. He was not fighting what he usually does. Does Villeneuve fight on the outside, or does he fight on the inside? Is the inside fight?
Outside.
Okay, so if he wasn't fighting Holyfield on the outside, that means Holyfield was fighting his fight, and Villeneuve was not fighting his fight, right? Okay, so that's why you say that Holyfield probably got it.
I'd need to rewatch the fight again. It's been a few years, but I'd say
it was a close fight.
It was a very close fight, but I reckon Holyfield got that fight. But obviously Holyfield was old then.
And he was also fighting in Zurich. He was fighting in Zurich, and he was fighting away from home, so he probably wouldn't get a decision for that reason as well.
Home cooking.
Yeah. David Haye beat him, though.
Yeah. David Haye really knocked him out. Nearly knocked him out.
Awesome.
In the 12th round.
David Haye there.
Yeah. But David Haye, he picked the right fights.
Well, it seems as though I have to go watch that fight because I never really watched it, or if I did, I probably clean forgot about it. But I do know
it's not an exciting fight. It's not exciting.
Oh, it's boring. But and then Holyfield's at the end of his career as well, right? Because there's a couple fights I saw Holyfield face at the end of his career where I thought he won that fight, but they didn't give him the fight because he's probably old. I know Ibragimov faced him. Ibragimov did beat him. I can tell you that for sure. You know Sultan Ibragimov, the southpaw, who faced
he used to be a champion, didn't he?
Yeah, WBO World Heavyweight Champion. He always wanted to fight Klitschko. When he finally fought Klitschko outboxed him. Because he couldn't figure out how to get on the inside of Klitschko.
Didn't he get knocked out in his last match?
That was his last fight. Yeah, he was undefeated before that. He faced, everybody else, but he just couldn't beat. He beat Shannon Briggs. He beat Evander Holyfield, Ray Austin. He had beaten some names, but he wanted to just face Klitschko to say, I beat Klitschko. Didn't happen. But I'll check out that fight. Holyfield versus Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
Villeneuve. Yeah. Nikolai Valuev. That's the name. Yeah. That's a good question. Anything else you see that you are excited about in terms of the boxing landscape? Not necessarily in terms of upcoming fights, but in terms of in boxing in general. I think I covered everything.
I'm actually looking forward to Eubank to Gale.
Bob Arum thought that Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. is not going to happen. That is just something to get people excited about. He also said he doesn't think that.
He's salty.
You don't believe it? You don't believe him?
No, that man's bitter.
You think he's bitter? But he's in ESPN. He got a contract with ESPN. Top Rank has a contract with ESPN, so they.
No, but he used to promote Garcia, didn't he?
Mikey, absolutely.
And then they had a disagreement, and Garcia didn't do anything for 2 years?
That's true.
So I reckon that's why
they tied up with that Gamboa thing, and then after that, they didn't want him. They didn't want to release him.
No, I'm not a fan of Bob Arum. I really don't like him.
Well, Bob Arum is a wily cat. I'll give you that. And you don't believe half the things he said. I believe truly that he kept back the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I think he's the hindrance to it. It could have happened many years ago.
I would agree with that.
But Arum knows. Remember, he was a promoter for Floyd Mayweather. He knows within his heart Mayweather would have eaten Pacquiao for breakfast. He knows that very, very well. So now that he could say, well, they were past their primes and all that stuff now. I don't think he also Top Rank had Cotto. They didn't want Cotto to face Floyd early on in the career because Cotto would have gotten badly damaged. Trust me. The Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd Floyd generally is bad. I heard that in sparring he's very mean. But and when you see him in the boxing ring now, he paints his picture and stuff. But what I heard was that if they went after Floyd faced Brucelis, then Top Rank said, nah, you can't get Cotto. Because when he stopped Brucelis, he was like, nah, I don't think you're going to face Cotto now. I wanted him to face, like you said, Ricky Hatton at super lightweight instead of at welterweight. But it didn't happen either. I think he wanted to face Costa Zoo.
I wanted to see Gaddy v. Hatton. I reckon that would have been a brilliant fight.
Gaddy versus Hatton. That's a nice thought. Yeah, because Hatton fights on the inside though. Hatton would have beaten Gatti, I think. I think Gatti. The problem with Gatti was he's too slow for Floyd.
No,
Gatti had
the thing is, Gatti from a distance, that combination hook.
And Gatti sets you up off the jab. He sets you up nice. That's how he got that guy at welter. I forgot what his name is, and he took the title from him. But Gatti, I don't know. Hatton gets to the inside of you, man. He gets to the inside, and then he does his work. Hatton was vicious, you know. He was very aggressive.
Very good. But he was very good at 140. That was it.
Yeah, he was good at 140. At 140. Till Pacquiao laid him out cold. I mean, Pacquiao knocked that guy out. I don't think Hatton knew where he was after that. That was Floyd hurt his career. Pacquiao wrecked his career. I mean, Pacquiao wrecked it.
Yeah. Hatton actually said that when he woke up, because he was in the ring and he was on like a blue part of the ring, he thought he woke up in bed because that's where he thought he was. It's just like, what? It's over?
Pacquiao put him to sleep.
Did I win?
You gotta hand it to Pacquiao, man. Pacquiao, the thing with Pacquiao is he's so quick and still he has that power with the quickness. So that's the thing that got everybody. Like Shane Mosley said, it's not that he felt the punch when Pacquiao dropped him, it's that it was so quick. You know, and you don't expect a small little guy like that to leap so far because Pacquiao would leap at you with the lead left. Everywhere he caught Chris Algieri pulling back and pow! Chris Algieri just went down the ground.
To be fair, Chris Algieri came in at what, 144 for that fight?
Yeah,
143.
Kind of compromised.
That was wrong. And then Cotto came at 145. Nah, that was wrong.
Yeah. Cotto was drained. Cotto was drained.
So Cotto could have finished that fight. The referee jumped in too early, in my opinion.
But I think it's good that the referee jumped in because I'll tell you two reasons. He would have gotten damaged pretty bad. I still think his career went on from that. And besides that, when you're weight drained, taking that kind of punch and you're weight drained, you never know what kind of damage you get. Yeah. So because he went to super welterweight after that, he didn't stick around. He went up in weight after that. Yeah. He didn't stick around. Yeah. So, I mean, that's your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool. I'm getting to see your whole entire family. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, when he knocked out Cotto, I know he was weight drained, but Diego Cruz was weight drained. People don't know that. So Diego Cruz went into that fight, and he really was a lightweight by that time. So,
you talking about the Floyd fight?
Yeah, that one that Floyd performed so spectacularly on, Diego Cruz was weight drained. Which is why he was kind of slower than normal.
Yeah, 135, wasn't it?
No, there was 130. He wanted to go up 135, and they said, no, the fight has to be at 130. So they ended up fighting at 130. And Corrales, that's why Corrales kept on getting knocked down. Because he was 100%. He had to, fight to make weight. That fight. That's what was going on. Because after that, Diego Corrales, he went on to do some real crazy things at lightweight. Here's what it is.
The fights he had with Castillo, that was brilliant.
Oh, man, it was just fantastic stuff.
That badass comeback.
Oh, badass. Man. Stopped Castillo.
And do you know the reason why he lost the second fight?
Which tells me also, I would have liked to see the fight with him continue with Floyd. Because his father threw in the towel, and he was like, man, don't throw in the towel. I wanted to see if he would have persevered and try and do some damage to Floyd later on in the fight. Or if Floyd would have just killed him. I don't know. But he didn't want anybody throwing. You think so? You think he probably would have damaged him more?
What was it he hit him with? Was it a straight right, a hook, right? And he spun him round and he went on his knee. That was
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
Oh, it was beautiful.
But he was saying, Corrales was saying, don't stop the fight. He was telling him, don't throw him. He's a real warrior, man. He would have fight to the end. You know, if this guy got a short circuit me, for short circuit me. But if you can't do it, I'm gonna make it straight to the 12th round. So and I like that. You know, DeMarcus Corley got knocked down like what 2-3 times, got back up, fought all the way to the 12th round. You know, so I just feel like these guys should you know, if a fighter says don't stop the fight, honor them. If they die in the ring, well, so be it. But at least let them, you know, say they finished the fight or just fight to the end. You know, I don't know.
That's tough. That's tough. You got to think about the sport as well.
Yeah,
people start dying in the ring.
Yeah, you see people getting killed in the ring. People be like, "Nah, I don't think I'm watching boxing anymore." Yeah, but I thought that, like you said, you were saying actually, you were going to say something else about another fight. That these fights.
Oh, the Castillo rematch with Corrales. Castillo came into that fight way overweight.
Yeah, he was.
Right, and that's why I think he got knocked out, because the other guy was just too heavy.
Yeah.
Castillo came in over 140 pounds, I think, for that fight.
Yeah. And that was a lightweight fight. That was a lightweight fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why Castillo was able to stop him.
He finished with an uppercut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked him cold, man.
And then Corrales died in a motorcycle accident, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. That was sad. But his wife is still in contact with Floyd, and they still stay in contact.
Oh, speaking of fighters and death, what's your opinion on Galley's death? I might have asked you this before.
Galley? That was a terrible death. Yeah. Seems as though it was a murder, suicide, or something. Seems as though his wife killed him.
Murder.
His wife killed him?
I think she had a hand in it, I think.
Yeah. She killed him.
Or she got someone to do it.
He was... Timothy Bradley, I think in Timothy Bradley's corner, he was there for the Timothy Bradley fights early on, and then he was always supporting boxing even after he left the sport. So that's sad, man, that he got murdered. But apparently no one has convicted his wife of anything.
Scot-free. But I tell you who else got murdered. I think it was about 10 years ago, thereabouts. Trevor Berbick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he was in Jamaica.
Oh, wow.
And do you know how he was killed? Do you know those things they used to take crops down? That kind of bent knife?
Sickles.
Back of the neck a couple of times.
Oh, man.
And they suspected a family member, but I don't know if that's true or not. I can't remember.
It was the guy who fought Shane Mosley and beat him up. Forrest Whitaker got shut down in a gas station. And then this other guy, which I can't remember his name right now, he was murdered as well. Oh, yeah. Hector Camacho. The great Hector Camacho at 50. I think he was gunned down.
Yeah, do you remember the other Filipino fighter called Valerio?
Oh, yeah. He murdered his wife and then committed suicide.
There's stories on the internet saying, "Oh, that was a conspiracy." I mean, people will always talk, but even Manny Pacquiao came out and said, "Oh, there's something not right about that situation." Wow, that's all he said.
Oh wow! Well, he was a killer, man, in the ring, and apparently he was a killer outside the ring.
He would have been a big guy. Well, yeah, he had a reputation of being a bit of a gangster, I think, or something like that.
He was a bad boy. So, it's just Valerio, man. It was a tragedy again, you know. But again, people think that boxers are perfect people. They're not. You know, most boxers.
No, they're flawed as people.
Well, most people somehow think that these guys are, you know, examples and stuff. Most of these boxers come from rough backgrounds, and they have a lot of character flaws and have seen a lot of trauma. So, you know, it's amazing when I hear the people talking about, you know, this boxer abused his wife, beat up his wife. I was like, yes, don't you understand these guys come from a certain background? Sugar Ray Leonard came from a good background, but he and all beat up his wife and stuff, and was very abusive and stuff. And I think what they say is around a certain time, like fight time, you can't come around a boxer just like that. They're very irritable. They could really do some crazy stuff.
Well, they have to get into that different mindset.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Most times they're pleasant, nice people, but when fight time comes around, don't come near them. They can explode and stuff. So
predator.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's what's up with that. I was looking at one more thing that you said, which kind of brought a question into my head. When you think of this, but first of all, have you ever boxed before? In any way?
Oh yeah, boxed. And I've never competed, but I've done many rounds of sparring in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. Done lots of that over the years.
Wow, cool. I have only done martial arts, and I've done like little play boxing, but no competitive boxing. I've done just martial arts. But no, I want to ask you this then. So, seeing that you've done boxing, when you look at the fans who discuss boxing on these very prominent channels, there's a lot of prominent channels out here. What do you think of what they say sometimes, even the channels themselves? Because I listen to people talk, and I still don't understand why they think that boxing is all about this. Well, anyway, let me hear what you have to say about them. What is your view on what the fans say?
All right. Specify the question just a little bit more in terms of fans. Give me just a little bit more to chew on.
Okay, so like for instance, I go on Boxing Voice or on many other channels, and the fans they behave like real fans. So they're like, okay, I like this fighter, I like that fighter, whatever. But most of the time when I hear the fans talk about why a fighter would beat another fighter, it's the same stuff, right? And you wonder, yeah, exactly. It's like so retarded in a way, because
completely retarded.
So what do you think about how the certain fandom of boxing is? I was listening to Fight Hype recently with Stacy and all these guys, and they were discussing different current events in boxing, and I found it very educated. Like they were educated on what they were saying. It was really great. And Ben from Fight Hype was there, and he was talking as well. He was narrating, but you also had all the other interviewers. A guy who used to be interviewing for the Boxing Voice, he's interviewing for Fight Hype as well as the Boxing Voice, was there as well, Steven. And he was actually making some sensible commentary. But for the most part, even when I listen to sometimes Ness and these guys talk, it's just amazing sometimes.
Devil's advocate all the time.
Right, but Ness watches a lot of boxing, more boxing than I do. But sometimes it kind of amazes me that they just don't get certain things about boxing. Like, so anyway.
Okay, to answer your question, right? The Boxing Voice, and I like the Boxing Voice.
Me too.
I find it very entertaining.
I subscribe.
But there's part of me that knows that it's superficial. The way that it's a manufactured argument between Ness and the other guy with the deep voice. He's American. I can't remember his name.
Right. The black guy.
And they always have they always have contrasting views, and they always argue and bitter. But it's like an old couple, but it's all sort of like, so it's all sort of a little bit scripted, right? Which is fine, but I think they pander a little bit too much to the casual fans rather than the ones that are a little bit more educated.
Right. So you think that's just to get more popular people to view the podcast?
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that business model, because at the end of the day, it's just a business. That's fine, but it's not the in the Boxing Voice. The conversation is not as grown up as it should be, in my opinion.
Right, and sometimes I wonder if they deliberately do that to tick off the fans who kind of know a little bit more about boxing, and just have them be like, got you, because sometimes it really sort of gets me. I'm like, how can you say, like for instance with the Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. fight, right? Which I can see how Errol Spence could kill this kid. Okay, he could just butcher him. Okay, I can see that. That's the obvious though. Don't you think? That's like obvious. Why would Mikey Garcia want to pick? He literally calls out Errol Spence, kind of like what Juan Manuel Marquez called out Floyd Mayweather, right? So he's going and he's calling out Errol Spence. Remember, Juan Manuel Marquez was at lightweight. Floyd Mayweather was at welterweight. Manny Pacquiao was at lightweight. Oscar De La Hoya was at super welterweight, but came down to welterweight, right? Shane Mosley was at lightweight. Oscar was at welterweight. So why can't Mikey Garcia, who is supposedly a lightweight, call out Errol Spence, who's a welterweight? You know, I just don't get it.
One reason.
Why?
Too short, in my opinion.
Too short, but Shane Mosley's shorter than Oscar. Roberto Duran was shorter than Sugar Ray Leonard. You know,
yeah, but we
Manny Pacquiao was significantly shorter than Oscar De La Hoya. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I don't think his power is enough at what was the last weight he fought at? Light welterweight?
Light welterweight. Yeah.
And his power's good because he gave Broner problems, and Broner didn't want any. But going up another 7 pounds, that's going to be a different story.
But then again, Juan Manuel Marquez never went up to welterweight, jumped up to welterweight, faced Floyd Mayweather, was supposed to be at a catchweight, didn't. And okay, yeah, Mayweather pretty much beat him up pretty bad, right? He did beat him up bad.
Yeah, he was, but he was fat in that fight. He pudgy, he was soft. And that was 143. And then all of a sudden he gets up to 147 against Manny Pacquiao and he pumps.
Yeah, well, he was for Pacquiao. I don't know. Juice that up, Alex Ariza.
Oh, he was juiced to the gills, man.
but
you know what?
Was probably,
if I was him, I would have done the same thing. If Pacquiao's on the juice, I'm going to be on the juice.
Yeah, even the scale, level the playing field.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, I was thinking that Marquez is a small guy. Compared to Mayweather, he's short, right? He's like 5'6". Mayweather's like 5'8", 5'9". Pacquiao is a short guy compared to Mayweather. So I'm just saying, even if Mikey Garcia is short, I don't think he's short. Mikey Garcia's like 5'8", 5'9". So he's around Errol Spence's height. And Mikey walks around probably at 151, 154, 160. So, I mean, when you think about it.
Let me give you an analogy, right? See, when Floyd went up to welterweight, who was the first guy he fought? Was it Baldomir or was it Zapchuta?
Oh, you mean Floyd at welter?
Yeah.
I think it was a guy called Shambe Mitchell.
Right.
He didn't just jump up and have a title fight. He had tested the waters first with Shambe Mitchell.
Exactly, and that's what Garcia needs to do.
Jump up and test the waters first? Don't do like Marquez or Pacquiao and just jump up and face the best guy?
Not yet. Just have one fight to find out where you're at.
Yeah, that would be, if you ask me, and I think if you ask Robert Garcia and his father, they would say that too. They would say, well, dude, why would you just go and fight this guy? And I think it's February they were looking at or something like that. Why would you go fight this guy in February? You should probably have a tune-up fight first, like what Andre Ward did. That makes sense. Mikey says, nope, I want to go straight into it. So there you go. But do you think it's true, though? You think that they're going to actually have that matchup? You think that's going to happen? And then Bob Arum is saying that, you know, Pacquiao versus Broner is not going to happen. That's just talk until they actually see them signed. And
Errol Spence is Al Heyman, isn't he?
Yep. So is Mikey. Mikey's at PBC right now.
Yeah. So, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem that fight being made.
Right.
Unless Al Heyman doesn't want it, but
Mikey's been asking for it. Works. And I'm wondering why do you think Mikey's asking for that fight? What do you think Mikey saw? I think I have my ideas, but what do you think Mikey saw that made him say, you know what, I want to fight this guy?
I honestly think either Mikey Garcia thinks he can't beat Lomo, that's why he's not going to go down, and he probably thinks he's more chance going up. Because Lomo is a better boxer than obviously Errol Spence, but obviously he doesn't have the same crack.
Exactly, he does not have the same crack. Mikey, if he doesn't know what he's doing and goes up and faces Errol Spence, will have a life-changing event. Because Errol Spence could destroy
he's gonna have
him
to
if he's
dance
not
around
prepared.
him.
Yeah, he could destroy his career if he's not prepared.
If he dances around him, that's the only way he's going to win.
Which
only
boxing?
Way. He can't. Yeah, but boxing as in moving around, different angles, that sort of thing. He cannot win by standing in front of him.
You cannot stand directly in front of him. No, you can't go toe to toe with Errol Spence. It's stupid. But but he has to trade body shots with Errol Spence. He has to not trade. Sorry, he needs to land shots to the body on Errol Spence. He'll have to keep moving. But his thing is the only way you're going to start to sap Errol Spence's power. You have to go to his body. Like Duran did against Sugar Ray Leonard. He has to go to the body, and he has to keep going to the body religiously. So that's not easy to do. I think when he saw the Lamont Peterson versus Errol Spence fight, and Lamont Peterson's not a big welterweight. Even though he's 165, somewhere thereabouts, Lamont Peterson is not a big welterweight. Danny Garcia faced Lamont Peterson. They were super lightweights, right? So they're big. I mean, super lightweights they walk around 165 on fight night. They're 165, right? But the point is,
how did you score that fight?
I had Danny Garcia win because he got too many of the earlier rounds. He just needed a few of the later rounds. It was good. I love when Peterson started walking him down. Peterson was trying to beat him up.
Yeah. I thought Peterson was very good at light welterweight.
Oh yeah, and he was a regular champion. And Errol Spence now has, I think he has a regular championship now too. He has the WBA and IBF. Keith Thurman's.
But I think can beat him.
I think I made a mistake. But the point is though that when I saw him start to really put the leather on Lamont Peterson, right? He was starting, Errol Spence that is, started putting the leather on Lamont Peterson. Peterson started landing body shots. I remember where Errol Spence had to back off of Peterson after Peterson landed 2 left hooks to the body. 2 left hooks to the body. And I remember Errol Spence backing off, and I was like, oh, I thought you could just take punches and keep coming. Not those 2 punches. So that told me that he's not invulnerable as a machine. I don't know if Mikey Garcia could get that kind of leverage on those kinds of punches. But if he can somehow line that up, it means he could get Errol Spence's attention. I don't know. Anyway, the thing about it is people say they use PED so much, probably they PED up Mikey Garcia and get him ready for that fight with Errol Spence and see what happens. But I think the best training camp that they have to be able to prepare themselves for Errol Spence is in Robert Garcia and his father's training camp, because that's where Loma and all those guys are. So it's the best place for Mikey to actually train to deal with Errol Spence. Hold on 1 second. Open. I got to split. I got to go and prepare some meals for my stuff. So this is you, man.
Oh, lost the volume. I'll catch you later, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.